All right, so there's the audience.
Hi, Mary Kay.
All right. And everybody ready?
Yes.
Okay. The quill, the printing press, the typewriter, the inkjet printer. All of these were advanced technologies in their time. But each one, more advanced than the other, had to come to an end. The new thing is 3D printing, and it takes printing to a whole new dimension, literally. Now, you may be wondering what 3D printing is. Well, I will get to that, but I'm also going to talk about the industrial, recreational, and educational aspects of it, as well as future implications. There's a site, conveniently called 3dprinting.com, that explains just what it is. 3D printing, or additive manufacturing, is a process of making three-dimensional solid objects from a digital file. The creation of a 3D printed object is achieved using additive processes. In an additive process, an object is created by laying down successive layers of material until the entire object is created. Now, that may sound like gibberish to some, but let me break it down a little further to show you how the printers actually work. So they print in 3 axes, in the X, Y, and Z. The Z is where you get that third dimension, makes it 3D, gets height. To design these objects, you need to use a design software like AutoCAD or SolidWorks, where you can make a 2D object and extrude it to make it 3D. You then put it into a slicer program, which literally slices the object into different layers, hundreds of layers at that, and that is how the printer can read it. And then once you plug that information into the printer, it prints it layer by layer. Now, there are 2 main types of printers that are used most in industrial and recreational uses. The first being material extrusion printers. They are the most common printers, and they print by using plastic filaments and spools that are sent through a heated extruder, and this extruder lays it down layer by layer in the shape of what the slicer program made the object. This type of printer is typically good for prototyping and making quick design changes, and it's really good to expedite the design process. But depending on the complexity of the part, it can take different chunks of time. Another type is binder jetting. This is the same kind we have at YSU actually, and it can print in metals, silicones, and even ceramics. It does this by laying down layers of powder and then a layer of glue in the shape of whatever your part is. And each layer builds upon itself one after the other. This process can take a little longer because once the part is created, you have to cure it or heat it so it can get its final durability. This is good for making more permanent parts and in the final stages of prototyping, depending on what you're making. Now, the 3D printing in industry has grown exponentially in the past few years, specifically generating a lot of money. From the same 3D printing website, it stated, the worldwide 3D printing industry is expected to grow from $3.1 billion in revenue in 2013 to $12.8 by 2018 and exceed $21 billion in worldwide revenue by the year 2020, which is a lot of money. Skip a slide. All right. In industry, 3D printing can be used for a wide array of things, specifically the automotive industry, which can be used for prototyping different parts for new cars, actually printing models of the concept car to try and tweak and design and fix whatever bugs are present. This is also a very lucrative field for money because from the same site, 3D printing in the automotive industry will generate a combined $1.1 billion by the year 2019. As well as this, additive manufacturing enables a continuous factory production for individual parts, thus prevents loss that takes place during a normal production process. This was from an article on 3dprint.com, which is different from the previous. And just the whole process can help speed up production, get newer cars out there faster, and even cheaper in some cases. Now, there's also recreational use and educational use. You can actually use one of these at home and buy them. They're somewhat expensive now, but as the technology grows, they will become cheaper and cheaper, of course. An example in the recreational uses would be, say you have a picture frame on the wall, hook breaks. You don't want to go out and buy a hook. You can just make one up off the computer, Or there's a bunch of websites that actually have templates you can download. And you have a completely customized hook to fit whatever shape frame you have. Another use for these would be in high schools, which these have been popping up a lot lately, especially in the Mahoning Valley. I know at Canfield we had one, and I was able to get my hands on it, and I actually made a 3D phone case from it, which was really cool. I actually made several different prototypes because of structural integrity problems. And these will just become more and more common, and eventually they'll be as common as a refrigerator in your house. Now, 3D printing is a technology that has a lot of room to expand. In the future, especially the medical industry, we've actually been able to print organs, but they haven't exactly worked yet. From an article on NBC.com, Maggie Fox stated, "It's still years away from being used in an actual human patients, but what it all hopes for is a way for people to get custom-made transplants using their own cells or closely matched cells grown to just the right size and shape." There was actually a team at Wake Forest University that has been doing just that, and this article was actually published a little under a couple weeks ago. There was also an article from livescience.com that stated organs and arteries can also be printed. We can take materials like collagen, fibrin, alginate, which are types of materials the body uses to build itself, and 3D print them. So parts can become patient specific and get really, really detailed. Another cool thing you can do with 3D printing is print food. There are people that actually have modified extrusion printers to print in peanut butter and even cheese whiz. But some of the common aspects would be candy, as shown there. And you can get really cool geometric shapes. It's not really for mass production, it's more for small creative batches for people with small shops. But there's also some health benefits as well. From an article on popularmechanics.com stated, one of the promises of 3D food printing is to create novel consumables with personalized nutritional content. You can add extra calcium or omega-3 fatty acids, and all done in a patient-specific way. Once again, being tailored to the individual, making it that much more personal. In the end, 3D printing is an astounding technology that has grown exponentially in the past few years and will continue to grow more and more. The only limitation is creativity and the actual technology that is present. But we know that the future is now. Thank you.